You ever done a podcast at 1 a.m., 1:06 a.m. in the morning, or the same day that you're actually trying to release said podcast? Here we are. Welcome. Carl Prather on the ones and twos. Producer Pat. The rest of North Alabama, and basically 99.9% of the world probably sleeping. Take after take, another edition of our podcast. Wanted to get an episode out that will be released later this morning in roughly about 7 hours or so. I'm Carl Prather. For those that are new to our podcast, we say welcome. If you just stumbled upon it, you can join our 7.5 listeners and viewers on our myriad of platforms. YouTube, one of those platforms where you can watch the actual stream of our podcast. You can also watch our podcast on our 48 Sports Zone app. That's an app you can download, available right now. It's free, folks. You can download it on Apple iTunes or the Google Play Store. And of course, Apple iTunes and Spotify is where you can find our podcast as well, along with our 48 Plus app. That's an app with extended coverage of long form format of content from WAFF as well. So got all that out of the way. Man, what a week for sports. Sheesh. We'll touch base with the NBA Finals. We'll touch base with the College World Series briefly toward the end of the podcast. But, of course, we have to start with what else? College football. For those that listen, they know that I'm a sicko for college football, much like so many of you here in North Alabama, the entire state, or across the country that listen to this podcast. And, obviously, we've had a little bit of news this week concerning and involving one of Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, reinstated earlier this week. After a judge did adjust that. Of course, for those that are new or familiar with this long, strange trip, Brendan was at what point not part of the Texas Tech Red Raider program. Basically, eligibility gone, done, fini, after it was found that he had gambled at his previous collegiate universities and college football programs at Indiana and Cincinnati. The court affidavits report that Sorsby gambled as much as $90,000 while he was playing for said teams, including betting unders for some of his quarterbacks during his time at Indiana. So, as you would imagine, with everything that's going on in the world of college athletics, most notably college football, the one instance regarding NIL, transfer portal, what many may consider for the last handful of years the wild, wild west of college football, and just trying to find some sort of semblance of a control of and regulation of the sport. The one thing that I think all college football fans and sports fans, let me reiterate, sports fans have all come to a consensus about. You don't gamble on sports and on your team. It's almost like it's been a tried and true declaration since the test of time in the world of sports. And those that love the sport, those that love sports outside of college football, I think this is the first time in my lifetime that I've seen legitimately everyone in agreement that Brendan Sorsby should not be able to play college football. His eligibility should be over, and he should not have the opportunity to play college football ever again. But here we are. He will indeed play for Texas Tech after a 2-game suspension. I think the big take for me is the consensus from everyone outside of the Texas Tech fan base and I'm not wanting to paint a broad brush for all of the Texas Tech fans. I truly believe that there is a contingent of Texas Tech fans that understand that this is not ideal for him to play football. I also believe that there are fans of the sport that truly understand whether you love NIL, transfer portal, or you don't. That this is just the one sticking point it's almost like a rule that is the rule of rules. And it's almost like we have kind of reached the crescendo of what is illegal in the world of college sports. And listen, I get it. I think we've climbed this proverbial mountain in college athletics, but more importantly, college football and college basketball, where we don't know what the rules are. We don't know what to believe anymore as fans. Guess what? Newsflash, everyone. What coaches, admins, those that are in and around athletics, they don't know. But here we are with a young man that will have the opportunity to play quarterback. So that's one faction of it, the consensus from fans outside of Texas Tech. And I'm just going to be brutally honest. Social media is a really long, strange trip. Visceral, sometimes an outright disgusting. All social media is not bad. There's some great moments there. But to see administrators, high-ranking officials, and boosters and some of the vitriol that has been spewed amongst very powerful people blows my mind. So here we are. Brendan Sorsby is going to play college football allegedly due to the court ruling that happened earlier this week. So, what now? We've heard a lot from Texas Tech administrators. There is a 20-plus minute video that was released late Thursday evening that had Kirby Hocutt, the athletic director, and deputy athletic directors, and university president. And the question that I have, I watched snippets of it, okay? I am first to say I did not watch the entire 24-plus minute video. But it just appears to me, since the beginning of this week, as we've run into the end of the week, and we're here in the early morning hours of a Friday, that there is a severe, in my opinion, a disconnect from all things in and around Lubbock, Texas, when it pertains to high-ranking officials and legitimately the rest of the college football world. I think those that are familiar with college football, and especially during the NIL era, understand Cody Campbell is a guy that does a lot. And that's an understatement for Texas Tech. And earlier this week, Cody Campbell had some choice words via social media toward athletic directors within the Southeastern Conference. Mind-blowing to see high-ranking adults back and forth like that. A couple of days ago, we heard from Cody Campbell. He was on a podcast and was asked about the integrity of college athletics and where is that line after the fallout from Brendan Sorsby being reinstated and eligible to play college football. Cody Campbell responded with this?
There are kids that are playing that have gotten DUIs, that have beaten up women. There are kids that have committed horrible acts. I mean, nobody boycotted to play Penn State a few years ago when that horrible situation happened there. I mean, it was.
Well, can I ask you then, why do you think people are wanting to boycott in this particular situation?
Well, it's because
you're
Texas
right
Tech,
about all
Texas,
of
it. It's because the college football world doesn't think that Texas Tech should be as good as we are. We've been a disruptor, just like Indiana has. And so we're a target, and we have been even before any of this started. Now, the volume has gone way up, and a lot of it's been directed at me and at Coach McGuire and at our university. But that's not fair. If this had happened at LSU, people would say, it's LSU. They're always going to kind of do what they do, and they're going to keep playing. But it happened at Texas Tech, and people don't want to compete with this. Of course, ADs in the Big 12 are saying crazy things and saying they don't want to play us. Well, they don't want to play us because they know he's good, and they don't want us to be as competitive. They want to have a better chance at winning the conference. So they're inherently conflicted in their opinion. And so, again, we're going to do the right thing by this kid, and we're going to follow the law.
All of the things that Cody is mentioning, I think any normal, sane human being with a brain understand consequences should be handed down. And if you've watched and covered sports long enough, you've understood that there are athletes, man or women, that have had first, second, third, 36th chances to be able to fall back or, more importantly, return into the good graces of said program, franchise, whether it's at the high school, whether it's at the prep, collegiate, professional level. But the question that I do want to ask, though, just food for thought for anyone listening and understands what's going on in college athletics in this Sorsby situation. I just go back to there's one thing that you cannot, that has resonated amongst sports relative to the integrity of the game, and it's that. And I've been in agreement with so many fans and analysts and pundits that have basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, your actions have to have some sort of consequences, whether it's speeding, if you're an athlete at a certain university, whether it's DUI, whether it's, a myriad of things. But it's also, to me, from a fan standpoint, one may say Texas Tech, Cody Campbell, maybe deflecting from the task at hand. And that is this case and Brendan Sorsby, and trying to almost make you believe that this is not in the realm of something terrible. And I think the wild part for me is that I think that people don't understand that there are levels of terrible and levels of like bad integrity. And the integrity of competition has been compromised with this ruling, right? I just think everyone should be in agreement with this. Which leads me into my next point. If it's even a point, it's just a take. These are just legitimately my thoughts, just surface level, just having a few days just to think about this, and listening to a lot of people in the know, pundits, college football analysts, and just regular fans of sport. There has been tons of evidence, including from one Brendan Sorsby, that has been compounded and added on from Texas Tech, that he has a mental health issue and a addiction. I think it's safe to say that when we are dealing with mental health, It is a extremely slippery slope. And once again, I go back to, if you are a sane human being, you should understand that mental health and addiction is real. You may know someone, whether it's in your immediate family, someone that's in your home, someone that's a family member from afar, a friend, a loved one that has dealt with addiction. And I think everyone can attest, without me trying to pretend to be any kind of clinical professional or doctor, that addiction is real, and addiction and mental health can cover the gamut of life. Do I believe gambling can be an addiction? 1,000,000%. Do I believe that people that have addiction or mental health issues should be able to seek proper treatment? 1,000,000%. But when you commit crimes, or you violate, if you do something that you should not do that is deemed illegal, there are consequences. And for me, when we are discussing Brendan Sorsby, and just paraphrasing what basically he's said in court, that he has a mental health issue and an addiction to this. Anyone that has the authority to try to help a human being, but in this instance, a young man, try to correct his behavior and help his addiction and mental health, you should welcome him in with open arms. No question about it. However, that doesn't mean you're able to play football. See, the thing that really is just, I think the big sticking point for me in the midst of this being overturned, eligibility being granted again, reinstatement, whatever it may be, is the simple fact that we have heard a young man say that he has an addiction, mental health issues, and said brass, especially in the last 8 hours with a 24-plus minute video with Kirby Holcutt and higher-ups within the Texas Tech Athletic and University, say that they've met people that have addictions, gambling addictions, and it is a mental health disease, and we're trying to work through this with Brendan, and we want to do our very best to help this young man get back on the right track and the right foot. All of those things can be true. Help me out, everyone. Just seriously. If Brendan Sorsby was reinstated, and let's just say for the sake of argument, Texas Tech brass, the university, the athletic department welcomed Brendan Sorsby in with open arms and said, we want you to be around our football program, our university. We would like to help you rid yourself of the best way possible disease, mental health issue, addiction, in the best way possible moving forward to have a quality of life in our university, in the environment of our university, whether that's being with the football team, being at practice, being at games, going and being an activist for mental health and gambling addiction, going around in the greater Lubbock city limits and beyond, and using kind of your testimony of what I've done, the consequences on that, and moving forward with life to try to potentially help someone else. I think there is not one single living, breathing human being that would disagree with that level of attention to rehabilitation and helping this young man. So why does he have to play football? That's the question that I ask. And I've heard this from a listen and watch from a number of different pundits across social media and just media as a whole over the last couple of days. And I just don't understand, but I do understand. Let's just cut the crap. We know Brendan Sorsby is a very good football player, and he's an excellent quarterback, and he was paid a king's ransom of money to transfer from Cincinnati to play for the Longhorns. And Texas Tech fans don't want to hear that. For the Red Raiders of Texas Tech in Lubbock, Texas. You have a program that reached the college football playoff a year ago, has some of the most amazing momentum and trajectory that you could ever want to have, from facilities to coaching staff to general manager to players, player personnel to boosters to university support on the academic side to the athletic support. Across the board, all of this is trending upward and in the right direction for Texas Tech. And when Brendan Sorsby made the decision to leave and come to Texas Tech, it's safe to say that college football fans and those that watch the game probably would say that they have a really good opportunity of returning back to the college football playoff for the second consecutive year. So let's just call it what it is. Are we masking what we want to do as far as helping this young man in the cloak of we really want you to play? Or could it be both? And for me, it could be both. The one thing that I've learned about college football, especially over the last handful of years with oversight committees and this committee and trying to create bills to be able to try to do the very best we can to regulate college football to get this to a spot where it could be feasible and everyone could have an opportunity to be able to live in the brave new world and or environment of college football. There is always self-interest from all parties involved. Do I believe that all parties involved, or at least the majority of all parties involved, have a vested interest in just the betterment of the game? I really do. I really do. You're going to hear this word a lot this morning. However, there's no way that you can believe that in the case of Brendan Sorsby, Texas Tech, Cody Campbell, Joey McGuire, Texas Tech brass, the whole nine, there's a vested interest in my own self-interest to be able to move the needle toward what is best for Texas Tech. And if college football is better for it, that as well. Let's not forget that at all. I think that needed to be said. Had an opportunity to hear from Joey McGuire, courtesy of KTRK, earlier this week as well. And Coach McGuire discussed some other instances with players or athletes from across a myriad of sports in college football, and those athletes being able to still compete.
Brendan Sorsby is recovering from an addiction. He's recovering. Like, I've sat down with this young man multiple times, and the things that he is going through and what he's been through is serious. As a society, we've been okay with other things that happens and allowing players to play, and this has been the one thing that has united people that we're against, you know. And it's crazy because it's not murder, it's not beating somebody, or so there's a lot of things that we're working through.
That was Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire. Kind of goes back to what Cody Campbell was discussing as well. I just don't understand the messaging from Texas Tech, because for me on the outside looking in, the messaging has not been ideal. Once again, we're on the outside looking in, everyone. But everyone is entitled to their own opinion, right? I mean, that's just what it is. This is an opinion-based world, right, wrong, or indifferent. I just don't understand how anyone not involved with Texas Tech that truly believes that Brendan Sorsby should have the opportunity to play football, how you're going to make those on the outside of those supporting Brendan Sorsby believe that he should be able to play college football. Once again, I have zero problems with Brendan Sorsby being able to be fully entrenched in the Texas Tech athletic department, the university, the football program, and the city of Lubbock. But that doesn't mean he has to play college football. Because if we are saying that he has a mental health issue, an addiction, a disease relative to gambling over $90,000 worth of bets, having other people place bets for you, betting unders against your own quarterback in your quarterback room, I just think for any fan, you just want to know what's really real. Is this really real? Is anything really real? Or can anyone do what they want? We've also had over the last couple of days murmurs from Big 12 officials, athletic directors, presidents, SEC athletic directors, presidents meeting. We've heard sources and anonymous sources within these respective conferences and beyond saying that we were not going to play Texas Tech in football or any other sports to kind of take a stand on that. I don't know how real that is. I truly don't. Listen, point blank bottom line, Brendan Sorsby, I just don't see how he's allowed to play college football. Betting on your own teams that you play for. There's a guy moving to another sport that played a very long time in Major League Baseball and is arguably the greatest hitter that's ever picked up a bat at the highest level. And he has still to this day not been enshrined in Cooperstown, banned from the sport. There's a young man that played in the NBA this season, banned from the NBA. Swift action. And college football fans will say, you want us to believe that there should be some sort of caveat for this situation and circumstance. Hard for a college football fan to fathom. Here's a take on Take After Take at 1:33 in the morning. I got a hot one. Brendan Sorsby is scheduled. No matter what, he has to sit out. He cannot play, and he is suspended for the first 2 games of the college football season. Is there a chance that the amount of public opinion of college football is so insurmountable that Texas Tech reverses course and says in no certain form, we understand the severity and magnitude of what Brendan Sorsby has done, hence the 2-game suspension, but we've decided to integrate Brennan into our university again, our athletic department, the whole 9, but he will not be able to play college football on the field for Texas Tech. Is there an instance for that? I think that there's a chance that Brendan Sorsby never plays for Texas Tech. I know that sounds crazy, but Joe McGuire said at that same meet and greet, he said in no certain form that He doesn't even know if Brendan can be ready for game 3, the third game. I think there's a chance. I think that is still on the table. We may look up and look back in a couple of weeks as they head into fall camp that Brendan does not play. He's going to have to talk eventually because he has to speak because media will want to talk to Joey McGuire and Cody Campbell and Curry Holcutt. Big 12 Media Days is on this way. Players and teammates who are trying to still, don't forget, get to know Brendan in the facility after spring, they will have to answer questions. It just ultimately becomes such a distraction, and distraction is, as loose a term as it could get concerning this, that what's the ultimate end game? Are you willing to, especially now with the decision and getting this far, are you willing to take the boat out into the deep waters and ride it all the way out and allow this young man to play in the midst of this decision? Obviously, the simple answer for Texas Tech is yes, but I am just not sure that this happens. So we shall see. Stay tuned for that. But, man, what an eventful week. College football never ceases to amaze us, man. I tell you, it has now officially become, if you hadn't already known, a year-round sport. There's always something to discuss outside of games. The sport has grown so much. It just is what it is. And good, bad, or indifferent, the sport has grown. The popularity of the sport is at an apex all-time high. And good, bad, or indifferent, even with this situation, it just continues to make the sport as popular as any sport in America, not named the National Football League or the National Basketball Association. So very interesting. I just could not fathom that he would be allowed to play again gambling on your own team. Very interesting. Wild times. Let's switch gears really quick. NBA Finals. An amazing game last night. 2 nights ago, I guess. New York Knicks rallied back from a 29-point deficit to defeat the San Antonio Spurs. They can close the series out in San Antonio. San Antonio can attempt to try to extend said series and return it back to New York to find a way to navigate to get it to a Game 7 back in San Antonio. Just the atmosphere in New York was just absolutely amazing. We had a coworker, a fellow colleague here in the station yesterday saying that she's not a big basketball fan, but watched it and just was enamored with the atmosphere in New York, and rightfully so. Just an amazing atmosphere, an amazing game, an amazing comeback for the Knicks. Remember, the Knicks came back from 22 down in the Eastern Conference playoffs against the Cleveland Cavaliers and found a way to do just that, down 29 against the Spurs. So what a way to kind of close the NBA season with an amazing NBA Finals series between these two teams. It's been fun to watch. Of course, as a fan, I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. I don't have a dog in the fight, but I just would love to see this go to Game 7. Every game has been fun to watch, and it's just been an exciting time in the National Basketball Association. So we'll see if the Spurs can get a win at home and force it back to Madison Square Garden, all in an attempt to get it back to San Antonio for a Game 7 in a couple of days. Men's College World Series about to get underway later this afternoon. The Troy Trojans will take on West Virginia. Shout out to Troy and Skylar Meade, and shout out to Rob Vaughn in Alabama for reaching the Men's College World Series. Super cool. A lot of really good teams there. I think 5 of the 8 teams in Omaha, Nebraska are from the Southeastern Conference, including 2 of the top 7 seeds. 3 of the top 10 seeds, if you count Alabama as a national 7 seed, but the number 3 seed in Georgia will face the number 6 seed in Texas in a contest on Saturday evening. So college baseball, always a fun time to see this in the summer. Obviously it's not a lot going on in the sports world, but man, it's kind of cool to be able to kind of sit around and watch a little baseball. Softball was great too over in Oklahoma City as the Texas Longhorns go back-to-back winning national championships in the world of softball. So been fun and exciting to watch the Men's College World Series, see if Alabama or North Alabama, a Yellowhammer State team or university will be able to bring home a national championship for the first time. Troy or in the World Series for the first time. Bama in the World Series for the first time since 1999, both eyeing a chance to bring home their first national title. Listen, we did a little podcasting tonight, this morning. Nothing wrong with that. Like, subscribe, Take After Take. We're available where podcasts are available. You can find us on Apple iTunes. You can find us on Spotify. As I mentioned, 48 Sports Zone app. You can find the podcast there. Video on demand is there from yours truly here at 1:42 in the morning. Or you can head over to our YouTube page. We have our podcast there. We also have it on our 48 Plus app as well. That's where we have more long form content. We have our regularly scheduled newscasts on there as well. And we got some exciting things coming up as we head into late summer, early fall with high school and college football as well. But it's been fun. I'm glad I was able to get a rep in with you this morning. I know you're sleeping, but hopefully you'll tune this in and check it out as we discussed the world of college football and Brendan Sorsby and that major story this week. Also, big shout out to the World Cup fans, man. US of A going to get it going in their group stage against Paraguay later tonight as well. 7 Central, 8 Eastern. See how far the US of A can go. They've made it to the round of 16 for the last handful of World Cups, including 2022. Most from soccer enthusiasts and aficionados, what I've been told is that this is arguably the best group that they've had in quite some time. So we shall see. I'll be watching. Super fun. I just love the atmosphere and the crowd. I'm not going to act like I'm some sort of aficionado with soccer and know all things soccer, but it's fun to watch, especially during World Cup time. So excited for that as well. Listen, get out and enjoy the weekend. Go try to find a pool or a piece of sun somewhere, man. We've dealt with all this rain and stuff all over the place. So listen, if you're in North Alabama, if you're listening or watching from across the state or anywhere in the Southeast or the country for that matter, make it a great weekend, man. Have a good time, enjoy it, and I'm gonna do my very best to do just that as well. In the interim, we will see you back here next week, but we appreciate everyone for listening and watching Take After Take, and with that, we will sign off and enjoy the weekend and try to get a little sleep at 1:44 in the morning. Take care, everyone.